Welcome to another episode of Guuurl. I'm Karen.
And I'm Tiffany.
And today, do we have a hot topic?
We have a hot topic today?
Mm.
So Karen, this one I think is going to be a very sensitive subject for some people.
Okay.
However, we're going to talk about it because we got perspective that we got to give you guys. So, go ahead. Tell us what it's going to be about.
I want to know, and I think a lot of people want to know, why is the number, and let's talk about what I mean about the number is so important.
The phone number?
No, not
What
the phone
number?
number.
What number are you talking about?
Let's talk about the track number.
You talking about body count.
Body count. Did you say body count? Okay, we're talking about the body count. Yes. I need to know, why is that so important to know?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that, right? So the number is how many people you have been with sexually.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So the question is that something that you disclose to your partner, your best friend, your husband or wife? Like, it's that what we're...
That's what we're talking about. Now, the question comes is, a man will want to know how many before him. Now, is that because he's insecure, or he just wants to know, like a car? He want to know.
He wants the Equifax report.
He wants the Equifax report. Why?
Pass, denied.
How many mileage? What difference does it make?
You had an accident back in 2011.
I don't think it's important because I don't care what his number is.
Okay.
So why should he want to know what my number is?
Okay. So you don't think it's important. So
No.
let me play devil's advocate. Okay. So what about if, you have the person who is saying, hey, babe, like, I accept you for who you are.
Okay.
I accept you for your strengths, for your weaknesses. And so a part of that is understanding you as a whole.
I don't think that number should come into play.
So,
because it's the past. If you're accepting who I am today, we're moving forward.
Yes.
Why does it matter?
So what if, based on what that number is, it would make or break how that person felt?
And I don't think that's fair.
Because you could say, my body count is 2.
Oh, and then he would be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
And
That's
then
not
you could
saying
be
that
like,
I'm telling the truth.
my body count is 25.
And then in the back of his mind, he's going to start thinking on the left side, on the negative side of, oh, well, who was it? How was it? Did they do this? Then it's going to change the dynamic of the relationship. But I think so.
But the thing is, like, does your partner have the right to know? Like, a part of that is knowing who you really are as a person, understanding how much experience you may have, and what if it's not going to change their perception, but that's just like, they want to know about you.
See, I think they will say it's not going to change their perspective.
But that ain't the truth.
But that's not the truth. Because the reason I don't want to know, because if I knew, I'm going to be honest, it would change my perspective.
Okay.
So then I just don't want to know.
Okay.
I want to know you as a person today, when we met, let's move forward, what you did, or how many you did in the past.
Hashtag
That could help
how
me out.
many.
That could help me out. But, but they want to know the body count. So have you been asked the question before?
I have. And I will be very honest with you, Karen. I have the same stance. I don't think that is information that you should share. Like, to me, you got to understand the intent. Like, what is that number going to, what's the objective? Like, how is that going to affect our relationship? How is it going to enhance our relationship? Like, what is it really going to, what good is it going to do?
What good is it? Exactly.
And who you are is exactly...
It's not who you've done.
Your number does not define you.
It
does not define you. And so we are of age, we are grown, and so with that comes experiences and wisdom. But guess what? You had to go through some things. In order to be able to get to that point. So I don't think that the number is that important, and so I would argue that that's not something that I would withhold. Now, I propose this. What if, Karen, you were dating someone and they said, well, that's a deal breaker that you're not going to tell me? And
deuces.
Ooh,
I'm sorry. I'm done. Because that should not, it goes back to who I am.
Yeah.
If I'm bringing something to the table, we're having a good time. We're dating. We're compatible in all of these other elements of a relationship. And you're going to tell me that I have to tell you my body count number?
No.
It's a deal breaker.
I got her saying body count.
I have it. Yes. Body count. Then I'm out the door. Then I am not the one for you. So then what he's going to think, oh, your number must be high. You can think whatever
that is a very
you
good
want.
point. Yes.
Exactly. Now you assuming my number could be very low. I just don't want to tell you my number.
And that is another thing. Like, do people assume that if you don't talk about it or if you don't want to discuss it, that it's high? It could very well be that I've been with one person.
Exactly.
And maybe, we had a long-term relationship, but I just don't understand how that impacts or what significance that has into the new relationship.
Because if we ask the male, they are not going to be honest. They can say, oh, this one doesn't count, that doesn't count.
I didn't have feelings for her. Yeah. This was a one-night stand, or she broke my heart.
Right.
Look, tires to a car are still tires. They got you to your destination.
Woo!
And so at some point, them tires can have too much mileage on them.
Right. And so that's why I say the number should not be discussed either way.
Right.
Because, if you're surely going to tell me it's a deal breaker, then I'm truly not the woman for you.
I agree. I just don't think that.
Now go back to when you were asked that question. How did it make you? How did you get around it? Did you say I'm not telling you, or did he tell you his number?
We never discussed it, and we kind of got past it. And I think that we had a moment where we can agree to disagree. Still not giving up the number because my stance is, what good is this going to do to our relationship? I don't feel like, as a woman, men want to hear about all the different experiences that you had with other men, especially when you're talking about sexual things. So then when you come into the number, then you have additional questions that are going to come after that. And so then we're taking the focus off of the things that may have been in my past. But
because
now with our future,
they will use it against us. They will say, "Okay, you're this age, and you've had X amount."
It's a math equation. Yes, you're trying to figure out: is she underexperienced? Is she overexperienced? Has she been around the block? Did she name the block? You know,
right. So that's why it should not come into play at all. That's my perspective, that it should not at all.
And we're grown.
But,
we are so grown. It's just not. I don't feel like, unless you are on when you have your own reasons to not engage and, to be sexual with someone, maybe you're waiting for marriage or whatnot. Like, we've all kind of, we've done some things. And so I don't know what that discussion, like, where is it going to get us?
Right.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear from our audience some comments about
numbers.
About numbers.
Who's giving up the numbers?
Who's giving up the numbers, and what happened after they gave up the numbers? Did it change their relationship?
Yeah.
Did it, enhance their relationship, or did it not matter?
And I think that's another piece. Like, people in relationships, I think are striving for intimacy, especially when you talk about life partnership, right? And a part of being intimate, the true meaning and definition of intimacy is really knowing that person in and out. Like, you don't even have to see them react. You can calculate how they're going to behave in certain things. Like, that's intimacy. But a part of intimacy, I guess, for some people would be, I know everything about this person. Does the number matter?
realize your age may predict your number.
Yes.
So if your sexual experience started at an early age, and now you're in your mid-20s, and so your number range may be high to some, it may be low, but it all depends on when you started.
And also life choices, because you could have someone who maybe they are 30. They could have gotten married at 18. They were married for, let's say 8 years or something like that. And so now they are divorced, newly single, and they're going through an exploratory time in their life. And, they're living their best life.
Their best life, right.
And so that can make life choices and experiences and age, and then also, like you said, depending on how someone perceives that number.
And that's why I go back to it shouldn't matter.
It
because you're not going to explain every sexual experience to your man when he's laying in the bed and says, "Oh, baby, it doesn't matter. Tell me. So you could say 30. He's lost it.
Yes.
So you can't explain, well, I was married for X amount of years. I now want to explore. Nope, he now has 30 in his head.
And you know what this is reminding me of? A sexual resume. Here is my resume. I want you to look at from the periods of 2010 to 2012. This is where I was. And this is his name. This is his reference.
Right. So now you're giving them a choice. Oh, pick me or not. And that's not fair, because you already are in a relationship. You're having a great time. And now you have this sexual resume. I like that, Tiffany. That's good.
Sexual resume,
you have that now on the table, and now you're picking. You're going through the experiences. You're going through all of that. And if that never was brought to the table,
you're creating a story.
Yeah.
And sometimes the story, the downfall of that, sometimes the story is not right. The story may not portray itself to what the reality may be. So then the question is there anything good that comes from knowing that number?
Right. And then also you have to realize, and this is a touchy situation, that you have someone that may have a high number, but it maybe wasn't her choice.
Yes.
Maybe something happened in her life that caused that number to be that. So, but you're not letting that person explain all of that. Now you're just getting this perception that they have a high number at a young age.
Right.
Or you're an older person and you have a low number, 1 or 2. Then that could be a negative, because, you're not experienced. Oh, you don't know how to do this. So that's why I'm saying it does not matter.
And I think that you're touching on something that's very critical, because you may look at it, you may have a partner who looks at it like, you know what, I don't know. They don't seem like they have enough experience. I'm kind of a pro. I like to do X, Y, and Z.
She may be a little
she's not open-minded, and so we may not be sexually compatible, and that's a real thing.
Right.
That is a real thing. But I don't know if that number will help you come to that conclusion, because that does not necessarily. I just don't feel like it's a good. No. Justification of who that person is. And so you have to take...
putting them in a situation where now they have to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because now you disclose this number that was so important. Or you have to give me the number, or I'll give you mine if you give me yours. First of all, that's never going to be right. It's always going to be 5. Fine. Just 5. Oh, and you were one of the 5. So then it's going to be a question of, are you okay? So now you're in this age range, and it's only been 5. So then it's going to be another question, and then another question, and it just will keep building and building. The next night at dinner, so did you say it was 6? No, I said 5. So now
so remember that guy you told me about from college?
Right. Like, was
it him who had that situation? Like, I think naturally you will talk about past relationships and people that you may have had the stories of sexual encounters and whatnot. But
or this is your best friend. So did your best friend?
Right.
Is he or she one of the numbers?
Have I met that best friend?
Right.
Is this the best friend who comes over, for the holiday dinner? Like,
it was fine for the last 10 years to sit around the table. Now you're looking across and seeing if he or she is one of the numbers.
I think it's just a downhill thing.
Yeah.
Much respect to the couples who have been honest and frank with one another about that number. And have been able to successfully continue in their relationship.
Right.
And I think that's a part of what we want to know from the audience.
Right.
Like, is there anyone watching who has possibly had that discussion with their partner, and what did that look like, and how did you journey in getting through that to help your relationship?
Right.
Because maybe we're not thinking about it from the perspective of how it could be a good thing, but I'm sure it has worked for someone. Case by case basis. But on this one, I'm gonna have to say no, dog.
I would say no.
No, dog.
No, girl.
No numbers. You can get my phone number, but not that number.
Okay, you heard it from Tiffany. All right, so no on the number. So again, we welcome your comments. Subscribe below. We want to see what happened when you disclose your number.
Girl. Check you out next time.
Fingers